Go on then, Alex. Away you go.
Are we going?
Yeah.
Should we rock and roll? Hello, everyone. This is going to be a bit of a long one. So I think Chris Harris always says you should get some biscuits because this one might go for a bit because we've got a very special guest over here. I'll hand over in a minute. Welcome to the Car Culture Podcast. Just before we start, by the way, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, before you forget, you can find us everywhere. But I've talked enough. I'm going to hand over to Dan and our very special guest. We have with us today Mr. Flat12. Introduce yourself.
Is that what we're allowed to call you? Flat12?
I don't know. Mohammed. Mohammed. Yeah. Should we go with Mohammed?
Sometimes that people don't know my name.
People don't know your face, man. They just know the brand.
Which is even better.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Sometimes
It's cool. It's cool to
now.
get. It's
You're
cool
on
to
camera.
get to that point, but also you have a name, right? So not just Flat12.
Yeah. So Dan is here as well, Mohammed, and we also have Ahmed. We need to introduce Ahmed as well.
He might say something in this
Yeah.
this episode. I'm sure he will because this is a bit more personal to him.
There's going to be a lot to talk about because I think what's interesting from our perspective from the outside, car culture is what our name is. But if there's one person that kind of carries the culture on their shoulders, it's Mohammed over here. So I think out of all the guests we've had, the scope
No
and
disrespect to anyone we've had before. This is the
brilliant
biggest
people,
guest.
but again, like the scope and breadth of the conversation we can have now about history and about the UAE's car culture and your role in it now, it's going to be quite interesting. So I think this is our opportunity to shut up, allow you to introduce yourself so you can, or everyone at home knows who you are, a bit more information about you, and let's get the ball rolling. Yeah.
In short, I'm Mohammed. I'm one of the founders of Flat12. So everyone thinks I'm
There we
the
go.
founder.
See?
It's one of the founders because I have my brothers with me. So we started Flat12 in 2016. It's been 6 years. It started as a platform only. So basically what happened is people were making fun of me that I post pictures of myself in my private account and they were making fun of me that I post pictures of cars, not myself. And I was always saying, I post things I like, and I like cars. I don't like my face.
Was your account Flat12 at the time? Was it just your
it
name?
was a normal my name.
Yeah.
So I keep telling them, I like cars. I don't like my face. Why should I post my face? I'd post my face on an occasion, like on a wedding and something worth it. So then I decided, let me create an account and just start posting cars because that's what I enjoy, especially after stopping from racing. So in 2015, 14, 15, 13, 14, 15, I used to race. And after that, I stopped after national service in 2015 and I got really bored.
You had the itch. You stopped racing, you got the itch. Yeah.
I just wanted to be busy with something.
Huh.
And that's when I started Flat12. We chose the name basically on a Porsche engine and because it's close to coffee.
So it's not the Testarossa we're talking about, it's the Porsche.
It's the 917.
Okay, 917, yeah.
And we chose the name because it's close to flat white. So we had our slogan, our three keywords, spark, wine, grind. So spark, anything that has an engine. So not Teslas. Wine, watches, and grind, coffee. We started just posting our cars, friends' cars, and that's it. And then I remember before the first event, I was like, I remember how people tagging me on stories started.
It's a behavior now, right? When you
So
see, I even do that. When I was in Romania, I saw a what's that big Mercedes called? The massive off-roader.
Unimog?
Unimog.
Unimog. I saw a Unimog and I put a picture up and I tagged Flat12 because it's almost like a behavior. If you see something cool and odd, you tag Flat12.
People still ask, why do people tag you? So it all started, I still remember, it was on a Friday. I posted a picture of a steering wheel.
Yes.
And I was like, tell us your weekend ride.
What you're
And that's
driving,
it.
yeah.
And back then you didn't have the option of reposting. I used to take screenshots, post again, screenshots, and my gallery was full of pictures.
Yeah.
And then we started. I did the first event with Khalid bin Hader, the owner of Bikers Cafe. The event was a drive, and we met behind Sunset Mall. And back then, last exit Al Qudra was newly opened, and our friend had a cafe there called Saddle. And we made a drive all the way.
See, lots of things now.
Yeah,
I like this. Yeah. Okay. So all the different. It's like a constellation now.
I know
the stars.
I know Mohammed before Flat12 even existed. I don't know. I'm sure I've
From
told you.
Evolve.
Not even from Evolve. So I used to play football. I didn't know it was you, but I used to play football at a school,
That was way after Flat12. That was the last 2 years.
Before. So I played football there I think I played there for 7 years, but I played there for 5 years and then stopped for a year and a half and started playing again. So I used to see your house. I used to come in past your house and I'd always be like, what are these cars?
Oh, the one on, so Al Wasl, I know the house. I just know it's the Al Wasl house, yeah.
So that was my dad's house, and everyone used to say the pickup house. So the first car we all bought was always a pickup. So the house used to be filled with pickups.
And there's a Unimog there as well, right?
2011, 12, when me and my brother Faisal started buying other things.
This is not the same house. So
there's the Unimog house and there's the other.
This
Unimog house is another house.
That's on our. That's on our.
The S2000 is your one,
This
right?
is near Golf News.
Yeah.
This is near Golf.
The old Golf News, yeah.
So we go back. So we did the first event, a drive from Sunset Mall to Al Qudra, and we were so lucky. In the first event, we had a Zonda, we had a LaFerrari, and then everything else that you see till today. People were so happy. So the first event ever, I actually tried calling everyone I know. Other than now, it's just a post. I don't call anyone.
And it's always been free, right? Because that's something we wanted to talk about as well. We'll get to that later, but there is, there's that component of doing it for free, just for the culture.
So after that, people kept saying, "Oh, we missed it. We want to come again." So we decided to do one after 2 or 3 weeks.
And these were rendezvous, right? That's what they were called.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was one, and then we did the second one under the bridge next to Safa Park.
I remember this.
And that became a spot for people to take pictures.
This was still when Caffeine and Machine was also around as well.
Yes, yeah.
So they were kind of side by side.
This is 16, right? 2016.
16, yes.
Yeah.
It was in 2016.
Yeah.
I think that was the second event. I don't remember the third, but I remember these two events because maybe I'd say they're special. I started there. And then people were just interested. They kept it. I get people asking me till today, when is Safa Park? They think it's easy. You can do it too.
We'll get to Safa Park as well, because it's been your second one now.
That's the story of Flat12. Of course, I didn't do all of that by myself. My brothers have always been helping, even friends.
And it's a motorsport family, isn't it?
Again?
It's a motorsport family, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So your brother is...
Faisal, my brother, is general manager of Dubai Autodrome, and he used to be in Yas. I used to race. So I'd say my uncles made us love cars. So when we were kids, all my other cousins, for example, used to do other sports like tennis, and we were making fun of them. I regret that today, by the way. So we were driving cars in the parking lot, so to wash them. So if any car is blocking another car, they will give us the key to go and move it. It's just 50 meters, but for us that was a big deal,
remember. Yeah,
and that's how it started. Then we started buying bikes. My uncles used to take us to car meets that they knew of back then. So I'd say that they made us love cars. So my uncles from my father's side, they're into football, and we were never into football. I like playing the game. I hate watching it.
No, because I think what's interesting is that, like, with this, you being local makes a big difference, because I think there's quite a few of us, even us as well, that have tried to make an impact because we live here. But having the ability to build something where you don't leave and you can continue to kind of allow it to grow has made it so big, I'd say. It's like definitely contributed to the power of Flat12. Because between Dubai Drives and Flat12, they're the two things here which make people buy cars. People want to buy cars so they can come to Flat12 events, and people want to buy cars to do Dubai Drives events. We've made some people build some cars, especially for Made, but those two things for me have been like the institutional, foundational things, right? And it becomes more like Flat12 has become a bit of an institution. It's almost like the Department of Car Culture in the UAE is
I'd say it's way less commercial than anything else, though.
I think that's why it's succeeded.
I'm like, I can see it. I don't know. Like, I think that's kind of like, if you're saying someone's buying a car to be, I don't know. I see Flat12 different. Right? I see it different. I don't know. Like, it's strange. There's a lot of car clubs. I hate the idea of car clubs, right? I hate it. And I think
I thought we were a car club.
So
totally against that.
Yeah. So like, you know, where it's like the Mustang Club, and I really hate the idea that just because you own a certain type of car, you have to be in a club. I don't think people mate, this is my view of if we're talking Flat12 events, right? For me, it's just, I know I can go, and actually I think of it in two different ways. I think maybe the majority of us in the room will think about it in one way as, if we're going there to collect content as car culture or going to an event, a Flat12 event is always going to have a lot of good content.
And oddballs. Like, that's my favorite thing.
I never
weird
understood
stuff.
the one brand car.
I don't like it.
You get bored.
It's not only that, but like
then you're seeing the same car,
especially if they're new. Because like I'm in the NSX group because I need help with parts. Do you know what I mean? Like, the first thing you do is like, why is the car surging? What? But with a new car club,
I don't know. I semi-understand the help for it, but if you have a new Mustang, you can go to the dealer, right? I think.
Yeah.
But you still just because I hate this, just because I own a certain type of car, does it mean that I have to hang around with you or you? I'd rather we own some similar cars, I guess, but like we get on as friends. So I want to see you because you're a friend, not just because you have like, let's say we both have a Mustang. I don't know. I still don't get that. Alex thinks that it's some glorification.
What?
In this country, if you have the same car as someone else, people need glorification.
Yeah, I think, look, most people move here to make their dreams come true. So it just becomes like a circle jerk and a pat on the back.
The bottom line is,
look at the GT3 club.
I don't think flat. So you have a policy where you were selective at Safa Park just recently, right? Yeah. So you can't buy to get in. I like that. Made was never, you can't buy a place to get in.
Yeah, but I think there is a category of flat 12 cars, in my opinion, right? And I think it's interesting or oddball. Like, if it's interesting and it's got a cool story and you clearly have passion for it, you haven't just bought it, I think that makes a car flat 12. Because it's weird. It's like, there's a real expression, there's no such thing as a fish. But if I see a fish, I know it's a fish. Exactly. If I see a car, I can tell you, should that be tagged as a flat 12 or not? If you see a Mustang with an exhaust on it and a stupid wing, maybe not. But if it's some 65 first generation, notchback, and someone's done it and they've done it a different way, that's a Mustang, but that's flat 12. It's, when you see it. Do you know what I mean?
I'm going to say something really controversial here as well.
First time ever.
Yeah. So you were comparing Dubai Drives and flat 12, right? I've been to Dubai Drives events, and Graham says that it's open for everyone, which I understand. And
this is the stuff
he wanted to do that, right? Like, I understand his mindset. But one time I went, and this is when Scott was still in the country, and we went, it was a hot dog thing. I think it was like they made it like a hot dog meat. It was a cool idea.
I remember it was at Raw.
At Raw, yeah. So we were walking around, and I get that it's open for everyone and anyone can join. But there was like 4 Megans parked up, brand new Megans, and I kind of like overheard a conversation where they were talking about what colour alloy rim protector should I get for my Megane. And that was it to me. I was just like, come on. Where I wouldn't expect that from a flat 12 event, right? That's where I'm saying there's a difference.
Sorry, Graham.
It can still happen. I'll tell you, I was only selective in Safa Park because it's a huge space, but it's still limited.
But it's also the view of the municipality on this as well. It's
exactly. So the municipality didn't want SUVs. That's why I was like, no modern SUVs.
So that's interesting because that was a thing people were complaining about. So that was not necessarily you. No. Although I think we would have made the same decision as well.
Let's introduce Safa Park to everyone.
Yeah, we probably. Yeah. I'm sure everyone listening to this will probably know, but there are some international people that might.
Yeah. Not. Do you want to give some background of what?
So can we stop there before we do that? One question I wanted to ask before. At what event do you think was like the turning point for you as Flat 12 as a brand? Where did you think this event was? It the first event? Was it 2, 3, or 4? Where
I'd say 2 events. I don't know which one, but one of them is Flat Out to Airlink. That was a wicked vibe. The other event was Ramadan Drive. Ramadan Drive was never about the cars. It was very social.
Yeah.
It was a short note. It's a short time, 2 hours, 3 hours max. A very short drive, and if you can see, no one was even looking at the cars. People were talking to each other, and every week we used to do iftar at the sunset next to the beach. So I think Ramadan Drives has helped a lot because it used to be the first year used to be on a daily basis, and the second year
was it Corona after that.
So after that, Corona, and then I didn't do it in 2020. I did it in 2021. But in 2021, I was like, I need to spend time with my family, so it wasn't every day.
But then we did the bridge drive. That was cool.
Exactly. That was the same route every time.
Did you know the best thing? This is middle of Ramadan when it's hot, and a lot of people that were attending it were fasting. And a lot of people didn't have any AC.
But now in Ramadan, which is nice, it's not that hot. The first year was actually
really hot. Yeah.
Summer.
Now, the last year we did it in 2021 was actually really good. And I think this year will be...
It should be better.
Okay.
Should be.
So we're saying those two were the big turning points. And so what made them special? Like for you,
community.
From the inside.
The one at Dubai Autodrome, I've always wanted to do I'm against it, but I always wanted to do something on the track. The feeling of standing inside the track. So whenever we go to a grid walk, it feels different when you're standing inside the track. You feel everything is big and you're so tiny. So I've always wanted to do something on the track.
So in there, so
initially it was.
That was.
If you talk about it from our point of view as well, right? So I think we got there at sunrise because it was winter. So the sunrise was quite
in
late.
December.
So we got some great photos again with the sun rising from the back of the grandstand. And you switch that to, if we're talking about today, there was an event, I don't know if you saw this, at Murdiff City Centre. I said this to Andy yesterday, like, we didn't go. I don't think anyone really had any interest in it. And that's not saying that there was some good cars there, because I saw on Instagram. But listen,
some of our friends as well.
Yeah, I don't know why I'd want to go there. A, my car would never get in there. But B, a lot of people live that Instagram life now. You can't get a great photo for Instagram there, because we said every parking space has a lamppost in it. You know, it's just not.
There is no
There's no backdrop, right? And you see at Airlink, people are actually on exit. They were taking their turn to line up under the start-finish straight and have a photo taken at Dubai Autodrome on the start-finish straight, right? So there's that element of being special. So I think a lot of people hear, let's have a car show on top of our mall. And we said this yesterday. How does it benefit Murdiff City Centre? I'm not sure it does, because people don't go inside.
It does, because it fits in a calendar. It's like there's a space. This
but we said, I know this is going a little bit too far, but if it's me, if I was head of events at Murdiff, I'll be like, right, we'll be selective with the cars and we'll put the cars inside the mall. I know there'll be a lot of health risks and stuff or silliness, but I'll do that, right? Think outside the box. Yeah. When you've done events, you've gone, right, let's do so. It's definitely more so recently as well. Let's choose a really cool location. Even the one, I didn't go to the rendezvous under the bridge because I was in Oman, I think, for drifting. But the look and feel from that was really, really cool.
And we were like, I'd say maybe a max 80, 100 cars only.
But you could get, I got the vibe from just looking at Instagram stories. I thought it was cool, right? Like,
but the timing was interesting, because Phil left, Caffeine Machine kind of wrapped up here, and Flat12 almost picked up naturally, because there was a little bit of an overlap. But that thing that isn't the Black Mamba Murdiff side of car culture, which is big here, it is. I like calling it that. I guess it's a cool name.
The themed cars.
Themed cars, yeah. There was an overlap and almost like a handover. We made jokes before we started, but there was almost like a natural handover to be like, here you go, Mohammed. This is you take the crown, you take the key to the culture almost. The timing of where Flat12 kind of picked up was almost naturally where Caffeine Machine kind of had to wrap up, because Phil wasn't here, and they're both things that were a person's drive, right? Phil decided to make Caffeine Machine. He got everyone else involved, and that became a thing. You decided with your friends as well, and your family almost, to start Flat12, and it kind of naturally continued that curated car community, let's say, rather than it being, like you said, it's not just everyone and anyone, it is specifically curated, right? So how did that feel, I guess? Did it feel natural? Did it feel like, I don't know.
Half of it was not planned.
Yeah.
So,
which I think is the best way, right?
Yeah,
every natural. Now and then we get an idea we want to do it. So the shop or the HQ that we did, we've been wanting to do it since 2018, and it never happened. We wanted to do it in Abu Dhabi, and then the place that we wanted to rent, there's a project that was going to happen after 2-3 years, and we were like, not worth investing. Faisal, my brother, used to work at Yas. He came back to Dubai, and then ever since he moved to Dubai, we started looking. And for us to find the right place, we needed parking.
So we're talking about now the cafe,
which
just launched,
which we haven't
just
really
so
spoken
on the same
about.
page,
So we needed a space that had parking. So one of the places that I saw and I really thought that I can have that space was Row. But then again, the parking lot is just a parking lot. But what's nice is the huge amount of parking lot.
Yeah.
But there is nothing else in Al Goz that has a similar warehouse with parking lot. But
and
again,
it naturally became a car little thing, didn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was because of Dubai Drives.
I would like to say that they've definitely made Raw what it is when it comes to cars.
Although Raw, by the way, is one of the first, or maybe the first specialty cafe.
And they used to be down, well, very close, but down the alleyway.
They used to be a roastery only.
Yeah. And then Fred used to go next door for the bikes, right? There was a bike workshop next to the old.
He just used to take me there for coffee, and it was such
he used
a
to
cool.
Turn up and be like, "We're going."
But the first place there was such a cool vibe, because it was just like, you know, coffee beans were like stored upstairs, and you sit in the cafe and you could see them.
That was Raw.
Yes, and
because
when
they used to be a roastery only. And I think they are the first roastery in Dubai. So we go back. So Algoz again, we couldn't find the right place. It was not that clean. We know that we'll get some special cars. It will be hard for them to drive between big trucks and stuff like that until we found the place we are in Port Rashid now. What's nice about it, it's at the port. The view is nice. The parking is great. You have a huge selection of parking in front of you. You have a shaded parking in the back. The warehouses have a lot of history. These are actually the first warehouses ever built in Dubai. Probably they're from 1979.
And you said that they've literally stamped, right?
It's still there.
Yeah.
It's so someone wrote the date and it's in another language, but the date is in English.
That's cool.
And it still says something. I think August 1979.
Also, as well, like if we're talking about events, that exact venue obviously was
one of
where,
the biggest events happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cafe Machine.
You know, if you're since car culture has existed, being involved or being at that event or being involved with it was that event, Safa Park, and then Made. I think for me, the three biggest events that we've seen here in terms of being different, being done
kind
well.
of like turning points. You can almost, if you had to make a timeline of culture here, they've been big, right? With some Emirates car show just sprinkled in.
Let's not talk about that.
But yeah.
You know, I mean, definitely the kind of events that I'd want to spend a day or two or three or four at. You know,
mixing events and space. How important was it Flat12 to have its own space? Because it allows you now to have more events, like you did with Forza.
Do you know what? It's not. I don't think it's a. So yes, it's a cafe or restaurant, but I think it's the
HQ.
That's an event for me. I see it as an event space. I still think we lack places where you can do events. It has front, back, and you can obviously utilize inside as well, right? Where anywhere else in Dubai, we've got other big cafes and restaurants here, but you can't utilize that space so well. You know?
And the biggest advantage is actually the back parking. I think we can still do events till May now.
And the lighting's really good in there as well, like night time.
Yeah,
You
it's
can
cool.
start at 7 a.m. up to 12, and as long as you're under the shade, it's fine.
So now the cafes here, it is kind of like an HQ for Flat12, right? There's plans for it. What's next? If you want to like discuss it, what's next for what you and?
Well, it's still not planned, but I've always wanted another destination or another branch so that I can do drives from to.
Cool.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's happening anytime soon. But it's there. But I'm sure we'll come up with something new one day. We'll come up with a new idea. We will plan it and we will execute. But now we don't. We have nothing. Nothing planned. We're just doing the events. And my brothers are pushing me to do the events at the cafe. And
you kind of stood off that so far, right? Like you've been.
Yeah,
I think we need to mention this, right? Because I've had the conversation with Mohammed where you're like, I don't want those JDM guys turning up again. Which I get. Unfortunately, like
as JDM car owners, we're not JDM.
no, everyone in
I
here
have
except
the
Sid.
filter for that issue now.
Yeah.
They can still look. All our events have always been open to everyone. The only way to filter that is to do it at 7 a.m.
Yeah,
The event
you're
that
right.
we did with
yeah.
Microsoft was at 12 p.m.
Yeah, you're right.
And they all had the chance to reach at 5 p.m.
Yeah, when darkness started to come out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
They like driving in the darkness.
I don't know.
The only way to fix that is come at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Whoever has a GDM and wakes up at 7 a.m. and comes, I know he's not going to do anything wrong.
I'm not coming. I can't make up 7 a.m. I got one weekend, but I know what you
Your
mean.
car doesn't work anyway, Alex.
Yeah,
so
it
how
does
you
now.
gonna
It's
get
registered
there,
and
right?
everything. Yeah.
You don't have to come at 7 a.m. You can come at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
I love waking up in the morning. I hate...
So you know what? UAE used to be the best place Friday morning to drive. Now there is no day to drive, and I'm still angry about this. Someone needs to fix this. There's no weekend. We need one day where we
have
can
a longer weekend. We have a longer weekend. Now.
You have a longer weekend,
So
but
back
I just
then,
want my
Friday
one
was a half
day.
day.
I just want one day to wake up in the morning at 7, 6, 5 or whatever, drive around Dubai and there's no traffic. Now, if you go to Al Quoz,
There's traffic every day. Almost.
every day, it doesn't matter if it's Saturday or Sunday, there's traffic.
Probably Expo. Everyone says Expo, but we'll only find out after 2 months.
I don't think so.
We can't use Expo. It's so far away.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like Al Quoz. We tend to go
Yeah,
to
but
a
the
lot of
number of
places.
people
Al
coming in
Quoz.
for Expo. Yeah.
But they ain't all living in Al Quoz, right? Like,
But I think Fridays are still quiet because people.
Ah.
I go to office on Fridays now, so my day offs are Saturday and Sunday. And what's nice about it, to be honest, for me it's better because
schools are in on Fridays still, though, right? So Sakine is
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah,
Hester
it is.
Street is not good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, let's go back to the events. But like, that's just an annoying point for me at the moment. Someone needs to sort it
I think
out.
about events and stuff. Let's move into what this is all about, which is culture, right? How
Why do you do events? There's a
Yeah.
question. Why do you do Flat 12 if you take away the cafe, right? Because you didn't go, let's start
because it costs
doing
money, doesn't
events.
It genuinely costs money, so there is an investment. Time
Do
is
people
always
understand?
something.
Do
but
people understand this? Even if you take time out of it,
Honestly,
stickers don't print themselves for free, right? So how do you
We
get
know.
the stickers? Yeah.
yeah,
you know, well,
poor Kylie too.
I still pay for the material, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but it's still right.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, these things don't. And then if you put your own time into it, and not only your own time, your brothers, the people that help at the show, that's a massive investment. And money comes and goes. Time, you don't have a machine to rewind and go back, right? So yeah, why do events?
The reason was, so I'll be honest. In the past 6 months, we've only paid to get things done. We never charged anyone. We never charged any manufacturer that wants to even join any of our events. And the reason is we don't want it to look commercial as much as we can. So for example, we had one of the brands that wanted to come to Safa Park. I was like, you can come, but you cannot put any logo. Even though they were ready to pay as well. But I just didn't want logos. I wanted to be natural. I'd say the last event was the only event that we actually made something out of it. But it's still, if you think about
but you only made something out of it because you now have
our food.
But that doesn't count labor, because I mean, people's hours.
No, but,
So, yeah.
but even whatever, now we were sitting and thinking about how much we made out of it. It's
not worth it. Yeah, no.
The amount of time we spent.
That's what I mean.
So it took us around 3 months to get ready for the event, and I've only had the approval 2 weeks earlier. And I was just getting ready because I don't know, they might say yes, they might say no, and they were not even sure. So there's a lot of money that was spent. Mainly, I've always loved seeing people together. I'm not talking about cars. So we have a majlis at our place. So I always enjoyed seeing my friends that come over there. If we're going out and I know that 2 groups are in 2 different places, I'll always go to the group that has more people in. I've always loved sitting with a bigger group of people. I'm very social. So I'd say my biggest or the only thing that makes me happy, to be honest, it's the cars. I'd say 20% the cars, but I enjoy more seeing everyone I know in the event, mainly kids, to be honest, and families. So
Everyone makes fun of it, but it's always nice to see, like the F40 story you had.
Exactly.
How much you want to share? Like, please, you can go ahead and share it, because it's nice to see to kind of hand over the love of cars to the next generation, right? And seeing like you're making a kid happy by giving them something, giving them time of day, because these kids, like,
so
Alex
his father was saying he couldn't sleep last night.
Yeah.
He sat in the car.
How old was he?
While he's 10, 11.
Yeah, it's a big
And
deal.
his
It is a
smile-
big
T-shirt.
deal.
Yeah, with an F40
Exactly.
t-shirt.
And
Yeah.
his smile was as big as his face the whole time. I think my face started hurting me when I was looking at him. He was so happy, he was enjoying it.
Do you know, Ahmed wanted to win the competition, by the way. He sent me a message on WhatsApp going, I'm going to get a ride in an F40.
So the kid came and he brought his own camera. He took a picture and I looked at him and I was like, this kid needs to win. So I was looking at him. I wanted him to see me. He was sitting with his parents. I wanted him to see me so that I can take him next to the car. But he was so into the camera. He was taking pictures. He went back home. He didn't post until later. The next day, he finished school. He went back. He edited the pictures. He drew the F40. And then I think that's why. So there is another guy that actually won as well. But that was a very professional picture.
Yeah.
But I think the kid deserves it more, or he actually deserves it because he put a lot more effort. And you can see on his face, he really wanted to be in that car.
That's a life-changing moment for a kid.
Imagine what is he going to do tomorrow at school.
We need people like this because these are people that are going to get spoon-fed electric cars, right?
Exactly.
You know,
Or
so
even at school, and I think this is the worst
you
thing.
should drive a Tesla because it's good for the
Cars are
environment,
Satan.
but they're not
Cars are
good for the
bad.
environment.
They're not.
Yeah. No, but like that's absolutely right, because I think the narrative now at school is that cars are the reason we've got global warming, and they do contribute. But The narrative around cars is that they're just evil. So seeing a kid get excited for an F40, which is something that we value, right?
Listen, I think we saw this at
Man, even at the, what's it called? What's the other one at the marina called? The show that was down in Marina.
No filter.
No filter. Yeah, no filter. Even no filter. Seeing the kids running around the cars and actually just getting excited. That was the
and
best
they had a
part.
great time with kids at that show as well. You know,
One thing that I always try to push for them to get kids is that when others, like car owners that come and see kids and families, they always tend to back off and not do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Because
well,
they
you'd
know
hope.
that if the kid doesn't like it, the mother or the father is going to complain.
here's my, like, we've never done a show as Car Culture. We ran Made, and that was selective because I knew if we tried to promote a show as Car Culture, I mean, it reflects our followers, I think. It'd be full of idiots, right? Like, saying
Us.
everyone. Yeah. But, well, we don't do things like that at car shows, but unfortunately there are. I don't know whether obviously you've grown up here, and I wanted to talk about, can you remember going to any events as a kid or even as, like, you know, owning your first car? But a lot of the events that we've spent so early days Car Culture, so 15, 16, 17, 18, it's 4 years of going to, bad events. Some that we kind of enjoy and laugh, but there's a lot of anti-lag. That's not you can't bring your child to that. And I see this, like, if you're a parent, so you're a dad that's into cars and you want to go to a car show, but you can't bring the wife or kids. The wife's going to moan at you because you need to bring me. But if that environment doesn't suit children or even your wife coming, now when you go back to Safa Park, which happened last weekend, right?
Yeah.
You can score points as a father because you're like, right, I'm going to bring the family.
Yeah, but I think the
You know,
thing is, there's two
a
kinds of
setting
events.
there.
There are family-friendly events for kids, and there's events full of kids. And what I think is unfortunate is there's a lot of events here where you've got the anti-lag and adults acting like kids,
But I see
which I
it,
think
though.
is the sad part.
I
do you
still
know what
don't
I mean?
understand the joy out of
I don't
anti-lags
do it.
and stuff like that. And so
Or where it came from.
every event that we do, we always post the rules, and I always get people making fun of me. Your events
We
are
spoke
boring.
about this maybe the day before the
I like-
event, right? Like,
So they keep saying that, oh, this is a boring event. I was like, don't come.
Yeah, there's enough
Yeah,
other
clearly
events.
it was boring because it's probably one of the biggest events we've had.
We
here.
heard a number of 1,800. We heard 1,800 being thrown around. Now, I don't know how that number came up, but there were a lot of cars.
Yeah.
There's
No,
a
no,
lot
that
of
was
cars.
actually true. I'll tell you why. We
So
did not
1,800 cars. Okay.
and 5,000 plus
People.
coming in. So
Yeah. There was definitely
I
way
printed
more
800
people.
cards only. Because last year we started counting and we reached till 600, 700, and then we stopped. I don't think we crossed 700. This time I said, okay, let me print I printed 800 cards and 1,200 stickers. So we ran out of cards at 2 p.m. And then after 30 minutes, 40 minutes, we ran out of stickers as well. So that's 1,200 stickers. And then the guy behind me from the park, they wanted numbers as well. So he started
Clicking.
counting. Yes. And that's how we got that number. I think it's still plus minus, maybe it's even more.
So there's an appetite. So going back to what we were saying.
But again, 1,800 is not 1,800 in the park at the same time. It's the amount of cars that
in and
went
out. Yeah, exactly. But going back to what we were saying about events and why they're important, especially handing down like the love of cars. What makes them interesting for a kid? I do think they're a bit intimidating, right? This idea, not the events that we've been part of, but the big, angry, anti-lag, burnout.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
If you
They're
scare a
not-
kid from an event like that, he will hate cars his entire life. He'll
I-
end up doing
I can't name
stuff
an
you
event.
don't want.
I had to actually
more than burnouts.
I had to pull someone out of a Mustang and say, I'll phone the police. If you don't get out of here in 5 minutes, you'll be arrested. Because he was just sat there doing donuts in front of all our cars. I'm not going to say what event it was, but anyway, it was rowdy as hell. But apparently that was okay.
But but like from 700 to 1,800 means it's an appetite, and it means it's a growing appetite, and it's a growing appetite of, I think, a wider audience, right? Not just us car weirdos who get excited when they see a Daihatsu Mira or something stupid like that, right? Or whatever it might be. I think that's what's interesting, that the validation comes from the numbers, right? Because you can't make numbers up. You can make an event And if people decide to come or not, that's up to them.
Exactly.
And the fact that they went from 700 to 1,800, and the fact that with more nice events coming up, it clearly shows that there's still opportunities to grow within that. And I don't know how much help those kinds of shows, the other shows, have for the community. And I don't know how much more popular it can get as well. Because people used to build cars for anti-lag. And what I'm saying with the Dubai Drives and Flat12 things, I think it's nice to say that there is an antidote to this. You can build a car, or just buy a car, or just try and be part of the community, buy something interesting and just turn it up that way. Park it here and have a little community moment. And then again, honestly, like at the marina show, I left my car, I walked around my car, and if there was a kid, I was like, let me open up the car and sit in the car. Made his day, just sitting in the car. I went, oh. I'm like, you can turn it on as well. And he turned it on, and then I was like, just press it a little bit. It made his day. And those moments are worth so much more than just angry anti-lag and angry adults who are acting like children. It's just not good.
To be honest, I think people are getting educated, or I don't know if it's called educated.
Mature.
But they're getting mature.
Yeah.
So back then in 2016, every event will have someone that does something like that.
Yeah.
Now they don't. Safa Park was a good example.
Yeah, true.
Even though we had a lot of
I think you
JDM
had issues
cars.
outside. Did you?
We had issues outside, and I'll tell you, for example, one of the things that happened. One guy, while he's leaving, I was at the door and I was telling him drive slow, and then when he left after me, he stepped on it. He took a turn and he came back. He wanted to go back in, and I was like, "Go straight."
Can you give us the brand? Can you give us the brand of car? Actually, you know what? Let's cut the cameras now for a minute.
He showed me the ticket. I was like, "That's not a ticket. Read it. That's a rule book." And you broke the rule. You're not coming back in.
What car
Please,
was it?
What car was it?
Challenger, Charger.
Hey! Best of the best. All right, should we take a minute? Yeah.
One time, for example, the first incident I had with Fred, it was at Cafe Rider, when Cafe Rider had rocks outside. So Fred was trying to park the car and he was stepping on it. I was like, you just need to be smooth on the throttle because it will keep digging. He's like, seriously? Be smooth with a Trans Am? I think it was a Trans Am. I was like, yeah, you have to be smooth. Yani, you don't need to keep revving to go back. Yeah. Then please show me how. I was like, I'm not driving your car. And then Khalid Al-Qasmi, you know Khalid? Khaldun drove the car and one time and he parked it. He gave him the key and he left. So the thing is, people have this idea
mentality.
You have to be loud. You don't have to be loud. Every guy that came in a Viper kept revving. I was like, listen, if you have 5 plates, clutch plates, you don't need to rev. I've been driving cars that have 3 plates and you still don't need to rev. You don't need to show us.
I've never
that
heard of I've heard triple plate.
No, I'm making fun. I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah.
But I've driven cars with 3 plates and you don't need to rev that much. You can still start the car and drive it without revving that much and showing everyone that. He's like, no, it has a big clutch. I was like, if it's 5 plates, you don't need to do it. And he actually drove in slowly. I was like, see, you can't do it. They just want to, I don't know. They'll get there. We'll get there.
So events, do we need to clap again just in case? Events will only get bigger if the actual car scene here is quite small compared to many other countries. Of
course, 100%.
So the only way the car scene will ever get bigger is when that wider people of non-car people kind of come to events. At Safa Park as well, we noticed that there was a lot of different nationalities, but there was a lot of females, right? Which I think at other car shows we kind of struggle to get, which was great, right? Like this is similar to Europe. It's not just men, and that's that whole testosterone thing of let's
max
do
power.
stuff.
The venue helps a lot. So I've been promoting my events to be a family day out.
Yeah.
But Safa Park has helped a lot because of the venue. And
I'm glad they stepped up.
Okay, so interesting question. Do you have a business profile on Instagram?
A business profile.
Yeah, you do. So you can. So can you see?
No, the males are more than females.
Yeah, that's fine. But I'd find it interesting to see if you got more females at the moment when you grew to say that like at the beginning it was just us blokes, but when it grew into more families and stuff, it'd be interesting to see what the ratio is.
Can I ask
honestly,
what the ratio is?
Yeah,
2 or 3%?
It used to be more females. I think it's less now.
Yeah. Just so everyone knows, by the way, if you don't like
ours is 3%.
Yeah. On Instagram, you can check to see what the percentage of your audience, area, age.
9.3% women. Yeah,
that's quite high actually.
Ours.
Yeah, it's a lot.
No, but it used to be more. It used to be around 20%.
20.
20.
Yeah.
20.
When we first started, it used to be 20.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be interesting.
This is great for radio, isn't it?
So the cafe account has around 50-50.
Yeah, that's fine because it's a cafe.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's a cafe, yeah.
And again, what's nice is that with the brand, adding a cafe makes it more lifestyle. I'm probably going to go there tonight, actually, just after, because I've got the intersection is easy to park. But
Oh,
it's
we're
nice,
5.1%.
Mate.
It must have been because we were at Flat 12 last weekend.
Yeah, but it'd be interesting to see if it was. You can't now, but to track the change. You know what I mean? Because I think it goes into like how nice of a brand you are with how open you are. Because again, yeah, it's a very macho thing, cars, right? Especially muscle cars. But being open to families, it's almost like a secondary KPI or whatever you want to call it for like how many women are okay with it. Because it's a cool thing. I think like my girlfriend's actually into cars. Courtney's legitimately into cars, and she enjoys them. And the problem is we're not very welcoming to, you know, the other sex.
She has to put up with them. I think that's
the Scale Electric track and everything. Yeah,
We've been to his house.
I've got a slot car track.
He's got a room dedicated to Scale Electrics.
No, I'll show you. Yeah, I've got and I've got all the different ones as well. She got me one for Christmas because she enjoys it as well.
He lives in where do you live? DIFC?
Here, yeah, just here.
And what is it? It's a duplex penthouse.
It's not a penthouse, right. Jesus Christ, it's on camera. No, but yeah, I'm lucky because we get to split.
It's high up, right? It's 37.
Yeah, but it's nice because again, I think more women would be into cars if we weren't.
I agree.
If we weren't so awfully intimidating, I think a lot more women, because there's no reason for girls not to like cars. It's just we make it hard for them.
Historic F1 had quite a family vibe to it, I think. That was quite cool.
Yeah, we forgot that for me, I would put it up there as like a monumental event.
I really enjoyed it. I like every aspect about it. And I didn't go as media.
Was the car driving? I think everything else was brilliant, and it was nice to see the cars do the parade. But the worst part was the racing. Everything else was so good, and seeing those cars on track was what made it. I didn't care who won the race. I don't even know who won the race. I couldn't care less. What I cared about was seeing those things on track, seeing Group C cars, seeing those old F1 cars, and then just seeing all the prams and kids, and getting kids to sit next to the cars that I used to love.
And so this year as well, 24 hours, we weren't allowed access to the pits, or general public weren't, but Historic F1, yes. So big tick.
Yeah, and was it a 956, the Porsche? Was it? It was, right?
The Rothmans. But that was not on the track.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, and the DBR9, but like seeing them there in the pit and then seeing kids run up to them and go like, what is this spaceship? Brilliant. Because I wish I had more opportunities like that as a kid, right? And giving kids more opportunities to stand next to these kinds of cars. We make fun and stuff, but it really means a lot.
If you've noticed, kids and females make these events even better, to be honest, and they make it even successful. I've noticed the change. We never had ladies unless someone brings his girlfriend. Yeah. But then now in Safa Park, we had like a girl coming in a Pagoda and another girl in a classic Mini and a Defender, a classic Defender, not a new one.
Because the new ones aren't allowed.
That was nice. The new ones were not allowed. So that was actually really nice to see that. And everyone was talking how people are accepting it and no one bothered them. So I think mainly local ladies, they will be worried to come to an event like that. They will be worried that someone will be looking at them or bothering them, and no one even spoke to them. And
is there a big community?
They're actually having conversations with other ladies and stuff like that. So
is there a big community of local ladies into cars as well? Because
it's growing.
Yeah.
So back then I was shocked when a girl tells me I have a classic car. I was like, why don't you come to an event? He's like, I want to, but I think they have doubts, you know. But now in the last event, I've seen like 3, 4, 5 cars, which is really good. I know that there are a lot of other girls that want to join, but they don't have the right car.
Apart from, what is it called? What's that ladies' car, supercar club?
Oh God, don't get me started.
What's that?
Do you remember what they're called?
I don't know.
No,
Gazelles.
Arabian Gazelles. Sorry,
Gazelles.
you can insert my role here.
Let's not talk about them.
No, but there is a legitimate that's interesting. So there is
for example, there are 2 girls that they're photographers and they always, you know them, they always come and take cars. I know they love cars.
Ahmed knows every single female photographer in the UAE because he's the slyest person ever, right? Yes, yeah, that was a great point. Thank you.
There's no camera on him, but he's gone bright red over there. There's heat radiating from this corner.
He started playing with his phone now. So there's a lot of girls that actually love going to the events, but because they still don't own the car, they still come and take pictures and enjoy seeing the cars.
The big question is, A, will you do it again next year? And B, I'm sure that community will grow again because you need a reason to own a car, right? We've kind of said this, and this gives you more of a reason
to buy something.
yeah, exactly.
You remember 2016? How many cars we had?
Oh, it's
Nothing.
Yeah, it's tiny.
It growed so much in the past couple of years. I
Definitely.
think, yes, if there are events, people will buy these cars because they want to show them to people. And I don't think Instagram only. So there's a lot of people that buy these cars to show people on Instagram, but there are still people that want to drive them out. They want to show them to people. And the only way is events. So next year, I don't know.
Which is also, going back to Dubai Drives, they have had a big impact on the region.
People wanting to own cars. Yeah, because again, I think the dirty little secret about Dubai is it's not a very good city to drive cars about in, because you go down one straight and you go down this one. It isn't. But this is kind of what.
Do you know, the roads are so good.
That's what
here,
we have. At least the roads are clean.
For low cars, they're great.
We have JS. So we do these drives, but it's private.
Yeah.
I avoid.
Drives are hard, by the way, because you really need. So I don't know how Dubai Drives do it. It's a struggle. And again, if you open it to everyone, it only takes one idiot to make one small mistake.
Exactly.
And then you
your name is tarnished. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, especially if you're trying to build up good repertoire with the municipality as well.
Yeah.
To have that incident and be like one of you. Yeah.
This is why I think there's still a lot of weight on your shoulders to do something at Safa Park, which is basically the government in one way, shape or form.
Or put it on Dubai calendar almost.
So they still had doubt again.
I'm sure.
Last year, the same thing. They were worried that the grass will get ruined. So I showed them pictures of all the events that happen all around the world on grass, and nothing happens every weekend. And then they were like, okay, if it gets damaged, you're paying for it. I was like, okay, I'll pay for it. And I went and I filmed the whole Safa Park with my phone. So I took a video of almost the whole place, just so that I have proof that it was damaged from before. And then they gave me the space. That was last year. The day after, they went crazy. They called me, can you do it next week? I was like, no way.
Next week?
Next week?
Exactly,
That's
the week
typical,
after.
yeah.
And no way. I'm doing it once a year and that's it. So this year again, they were in doubt to give me the space.
Was it the same person you're dealing with that side?
It was someone else.
Different.
Yeah,
So
standard.
this year they were in doubt as well. They were like, oh, there is a guy that's opening a business. We don't know. I was like, okay, when is he opening the business? Once he opens, I will come and do the event. He will benefit. This way I'm not getting a food truck.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't know. And then that guy didn't even start. And then I was like, guys, give it to me. Trust me. Everyone is asking for it.
Was it Dubai Police who did the helicopter?
One of your last podcasts, you've mentioned Safa Park a lot, and I sent them the link. I was like, people.
Did the municipality? You say the municipality?
Yeah, exactly. They saw the
We need to be
podcast.
really careful now.
They saw the podcast.
We haven't sworn on this one. We've been careful.
once. Yeah,
So
it's still got time.
So then they were like, okay, but this time you need to change. So we don't want bigger cars because they were worried about the sprinklers. They wanted us to put cones on the sprinklers and our flags on the sprinklers. Nothing happened to the sprinklers. They were just worried. They wanted more marshals. We got more people. Last year we had 6 only.
Yeah.
We were only 6. This time I think we reached 10 probably.
Well, I think about it from I thought about this after I saw you. You know, you came and chatted to me when I was in the GTR leaving. And I was like, I didn't want to be you right now. I don't know how you can enjoy an event like that because you're working. It's very, very hard.
I didn't, honestly, and that was the first event that my mom and dad came.
Attended.
And I didn't even
that's
see
good.
them.
Yeah. What
I
do they
didn't see
think
them.
about
my
this?
dad
by the way?
was walking all around the park and he was like, how the hell did my kid do this?
This is why I'm going back to you. Let's say you did have 1,800 cars, right? We all worked on an event which had 87 cars.
Mate.
And it was hell, yeah. 80.
No, but your events are more, you're talking about,
Specific,
for example, yes, it was more specific.
But
Ours is
still
the
handling
regular-
87 cars, and Ahmed knows as well because he's running around trying to sort out traffic outside the event. 87 cars is a massive headache, right?
And it fills up real quick. I did that one year as well. I know it's not fun.
And you take that back to 1,800 cars, it's a big... I know this year you had electric scooters, which was...
No, even last year we did.
Yeah.
But for example, this year I didn't use it. Last year, at least I came in twice and I had someone else at the gate. But this year I couldn't because of the amount of cars coming in and out at the same time.
So you were on the gate the whole day?
Yeah, no,
Basically.
99%. I had the last 1% just to go in and tell people, please leave.
So
We need
in
to
the
take our
comments,
stuff and go back home and sleep.
all 50 people who watch this, can you say thank you, by the way? Because it wouldn't have happened without that kind of, I'm going to stand on my feet for 12 hours. Do you know what I mean?
It's not only that, it's the weeks before planning as well. It's also dealing with the, I'm going to call them idiots that are like, why won't you let me in before the event? Oh, you know.
No, that's so. I was speaking to Dan. I remember. So that's the only issue. So we ask for specific cars. Modern 4-wheel drives are not allowed in because I don't think they're special. Even the new Defender. I had a lot of people with the new Defender. I was like,
I like
it's
the
nothing.
new Defender.
Honestly, it's a nice car, but it's not a car to come to an event. I understand.
See, but that's the thing. Like, there's no such thing as a fish. You know, when you look at a car, that's flat 12, but
Exactly.
it's not flat 12.
So-
Do you know what I mean?
So
Unfortunately,
again,
these
the
people
park
don't
didn't-
understand that, right?
The park didn't want SUVs, and I begged them or asked them
Overlanding.
at least we want classic SUVs and overlanders because the setup that the overlanders
What
did.
would you call that Rolls Royce?
I don't know. I did not
Road
even
registered
that car-
on modern plates, not classic plates.
Yeah.
They're
So-
It basically had
I did not
monster
expect
truck
that to come.
tires.
I was looking at it, I was like, I can't even stop this. It
You
will
definitely-
create a lot of
you
traffic.
can't
Yeah,
literally
yeah,
physically
yeah.
stop it. What are you gonna do?
But
But that's for me. It was cool as hell, right? I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, but again,
It's
thinking
like-
about like if we think about the metric of if a kid sees this, it's going to make him smile. A kid sees a classic Rolls Royce,
Exactly, yeah.
monster truck, they go.
it's on monster. It was
Even
basically
me,
on monster.
one of my
truck
favorite one
wheels.
was the Martini Range Rover.
Yeah,
That
quite
was
cool.
mental. I
that
don't
was
know who
that-
decided that.
That was the same owner as well.
Yeah, of course it was. I
That
like
was
the,
that house that you spoke about.
Yeah.
Yes, on
Unimog
Al
house.
Wassel
yeah.
Road. I thought
The
I'd seen
Unimog
it,
house.
but,
one of my
yeah.
favorite details was the Martini watch straps as the hood clamps. So you know how you could put like hood what are they
Straps
called?
for your
Straps.
phone,
Yeah.
yeah.
He had watch
Watch
straps.
straps.
Martini
Oh, nice.
watch straps, and so I took a picture of that. Yeah. See, stuff like that is flat 12. I can't tell you
But
why,
how
but
the
it
hell
is.
do you enjoy the event then?
I didn't. This event I didn't. Honestly, the
What
only
about
event.
last year? So we haven't really
No,
explained.
not even last year. The only event that I actually enjoy is Ramadan Drive, and that's it.
because yeah.
But you still do them, and I think we have to say thank you first. But like,
Well, who else is
honestly,
gonna
now
do it?
next year, I have to enjoy it because the amount I still
So
couldn't.
how do you
even,
get to that point of enjoying
I'll tell
it?
you. So I still couldn't even finish all the messages of people thanking me
Yeah,
and
yeah.
sending me pictures.
has
It's
it been positive by the
why
way
can't
afterwards?
Yeah, I'd
everyone
say,
was positive.
yeah, yeah.
Even people, I was so happy that a lot of people that I didn't let in, they still texted me. They were happy. So some people were not happy, and they were saying, "Why did you let Dan in?" I think Dan has a car with
I don't know
wheels.
why you let that.
Exactly, I told you. So Dan has a car that has aftermarket wheels only. It's not a body kit. I don't want to get affiliated or to be connected with cars with body kits, huge body kits. A small lip or a fender flare is
or
fine.
an RWB, which is a
But
separate
anything
thing. Yeah.
huge is something that has to be in a custom show. I'm not a custom show.
There's definitely like I think there's a clear. It's really hard here because I think that's an easy way of saying no body kits. It rules out.
You
a
have
lot
to
of
draw
these
the
cars.
line somewhere.
Just say no themed cars, like no
So,
superhero themed.
The only way
cars,
for me
like-
to enjoy it, and I was like, I'll only do it next year if I can pull it off that way. I'll do registration only, and if you get accepted,
Yeah,
you
this is
get
where we
in.
need to
If
go
you
back to
don't,
this.
You can still walk in, but you cannot get in.
I'm
But you
gonna
could
put-
formalize.
I'm going to
under-
put you on the spot now as well because I don't think there's any like this is a bold statement, but the people I know that run shows, very successful shows in different countries, all make money from it, and they make good money. You could have like a very good salary for the year. Would you ever charge people to come to a show like the Safa Park show that you've now done twice?
Because then it would allow
It
you to have
needs
the
to be.
admin to enjoy
I
it.
personally,
Honestly,
I will pay.
everyone is telling me to charge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it will feel commercial. And
I-
another problem is that Dubai Tourism
government,
found out about the last
yeah,
event, and they're
yeah.
like, "Why you didn't tell us about it?"
Yeah, DTC.
There was 5,000 people.
In a good way or a bad way? What did
No,
it
in
say?
a good way.
yeah.
But they were okay. Actually, they were pissed because they didn't know about it, and they have to wait for a year. So they were like, "Next year we have to be involved." And
I think the thing about commercializing and paying a fee, if I get something for free, it's something I just throw away, right? But if I pay something, it feels a little more valuable, right? Again,
I'm not sure people think of it.
even
that way.
like, no, but like from a psychological perspective, the psychology of paying a nominal fee, even 20 dirhams,
Exactly, yeah.
makes it feel like, and if it is going into like allowing you a bigger team to enjoy
Exactly.
the event, to actually just go and, I'm sorry you didn't get to because
The
we
only-
did,
I
we
think-
loved it.
I
but,
think
like,
the only way it's ever going to grow. Well, no, it will grow, but the way that it will grow even bigger and more naturally is if you start to earn an income and say, well, I can actually
and you
spend
can then spend even more.
more
yeah,
money
and then
in
you
certain
bundle into the
ways.
cafe.
Because
Yeah.
I feel bad. For example, the marshals with me, Two
You
of,
get
them,
paid nothing.
two of them are my brothers. I
Yeah.
don't care. But then my
Yeah,
friends, I feel bad that I can't give them anything in return. 'Cause
Never
I'm
feel
not
bad for your
making
brothers.
anything out of it. So I think if at least I get charged, I can give them something
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
return,
yeah.
you know. And then you will
I think
filter a
Himanshu
lot
just
of
likes
people
the
that you
opportunity.
don't want them to come to the events.
I think Himanshu just likes the opportunity to talk, by the way, so you don't have to charge him anything. And by the way, we forgot to mention it. Thank you very much for organising this. We have to shout out Himanshu as well. But yeah,
Masha.
yeah.
So probably we'll start charging people, but I think it's going to be something minimal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
It's
again,
fun, though,
maybe it's a voucher for you to get
some coffee.
something
or-
to
yeah.
get from inside.
Yeah, but that's my point. If you've spent a bit more money, it feels like I've invested something.
But
Do you know what I mean?
I've got a funny story going back to, so you were talking about DTCM, I think, or, wanting to get involved. So if you can remember back to Cafe the Machine at Port Rashid.
Mm-hmm.
So I helped Phil, and there was also Fred that was involved in that event. And that event finished, and the port were very happy. I can't remember how Phil got the contact or how it worked, but it was like, we need to launch this area, make some noise. So Phil did an event there. There were costs involved in running that, and there was definitely a lot of time spent in it as well. Then straight away afterwards, they said, right, we want you to do another one. So we went down the idea of doing it, and then they came back and said, we need 80,000 dirhams, yeah. And we're like, well, I think they thought, there was, let's say there's 1,000 cars there, and every car was generating 50 or 100 dirhams. But they just don't realise that there is...
It's a different way of thinking.
Yeah,
And it's an event way of thinking, because
It's
you've worked in
something
events.
that the people that are renting over there, they're going to benefit. So
Yes,
the last
yeah.
event I did, Microsoft insisted to get...
Hold on that thought before you talk about Microsoft. Have we run out? Oh, okay. Yeah.
timing.
So we're saying, I
Microsoft.
don't think they see the benefit that they will get out of these people. So they have people that are renting shops from them. And the place is not that busy. You getting them, that amount of people will benefit people there to stay longer.
Yeah.
And today a lot of people left. So Microsoft...
From the site, you mean?
From Port Rashid.
For
From
example,
Port Rashid,
Microsoft. So when I wanted to do the event with Microsoft, it was not paid. They didn't pay me anything. They just wanted to collaborate. I said, okay, first event, let me try it out. And everyone was making fun of me that it was not paid because I basically did everything. Even the company that they brought to take pictures was so bad. The pictures were like, when you go to a corporate event with a team building corporate event, pictures were like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to take pictures with my phone and they were better. They wanted to get food trucks and the port wanted to get food trucks. I was like, no, you're not getting one food truck here.
Yeah.
We have people here suffering and they're looking for traffic.
Yeah.
Let them benefit. Why should you get someone from outside?
Mm-hmm.
And he will pay a minimum charge just to stay there for a day and probably make a lot and leave. Why?
When you're trying to build the area.
Exactly. Help people that are actually staying here and paying your yearly an annual rent. So that's why they were like, oh, we want to bring our friend. I was like, even if it's your brother, he's not coming here. You didn't pay me anything. I'm controlling everything. Oh, no, wait. So one guy from the PR company was like, so if you're not getting any food truck, we're doing revenue share with you at the cafe. It's like, what?
Okay, when I charge you 100,000 to rent the...
No, wait. I was like, it's okay, then do the event yourself. He's like, but who will bring the cars? Like, I don't
That's a very
understand.
interesting question there, isn't it?
So you're basically telling me to do everything, you're just putting your name, and you want revenue share as well? I was like, listen, you're not getting 1 dirham out of me.
Yeah.
And then it happened. Honestly, I would not do it again.
So it's the fear of becoming commercialized, the fear of becoming that.
Yeah, I have a lot of fear of becoming commercial.
I don't see it as I personally want someone, I think you're in the power to do it. We are nowhere near doing an event that we could pull off in the same kind of shape that you'd be able to do it and charge money. I think people need to understand the value. Even if let's say we say Safa Park is a yearly event now, even if it goes back in terms of number of cars, if it goes from 1,800 down to 500 or 600, right?
I don't mind.
The vibe will still be there.
I agree.
If those people are paying, they're probably not going to be the people, especially if you do an application as well. So application and you pay, it's like, okay, I've approved your car and you get a payment link and you pay 25 dirhams before you even enter or whatever. So it's done. That really seals it as, okay, that person is going to come. They know what they're going to expect.
Exactly,
They'll enjoy the vibe. They'll bring the family, everything. I just think that everywhere else in the world charges for car shows. And I think if I had taken someone I know.
So I've never knew that people charge.
Listen, so
Sultan was telling me, it's like,
so I'm quite friendly with a guy in the UK that runs a show at Goodwood, and he charges £20 a day.
Oh, players.
To get in. So £20 is
100
dirhams, right? And everyone pays it with no qualms. And not only that, car owners, I believe it's application. So if you get accepted, you have to pay. So you get accepted for both days. I believe it's £30 for both days. So it's 2 day show. So even if you're on foot, you pay £20 a day. I don't think there's such as a weekend ticket. So that kind of seems like quite a lot of money, but in the
makes
UK,
it feel more special.
It's the done thing, right? But Goodwood's expensive to rent. There's a lot running, a lot that goes into running of it, but it's one of the most professional shows in the UK, and it's the biggest. And Jay earns a good money out of it, but he works for it, right? It's natural. How he's only going to improve himself by having a proven business model as well, right? There needs to be some way of being able to move forward. Here, I think fundamentally, we've had all these free shows, and then people turn up and do what they want. There's other shows where you can pay to get in. Like, I don't care. Let's say Customer Show, because I'll be honest, I think they've gone backwards, and I don't care if one of them wants to call me out. I'll sit with the new.
If they're still watching after this long.
I think it's they had such a great
opportunity.
Opportunity.
Mate, they had SEMA. They're like, again, if we think about what a car show is, SEMA is unfortunately the biggest car show in the world.
They miss actually. So you know Tarek, both Tarek. So Tarek with the trucks, that man deserves a medal. I had to chat with him on the way out as well, right? He sold himself to the event, right? And he has a full-time job and all. He's been building cars here for a long time. I think he's definitely over the past 5-6 years changed the mentality of how to build a car. I love that. And he really pushes the boundaries. But I remember sitting down with him and other Tarek with the Cadillacs at Custom Show 5 years ago, I don't know. And they were both, Dan, I've had enough. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
And they were paying good money to put their cars inside there, like 600 dirhams. But there was no kind of like application process. And if you were winning a trophy, it was just a tick list. So there's 100 options. If you've got 100 options on that tick list, you win, right?
No, but I'm sorry.
So basically everyone wins almost.
Yeah, there's a million
trophies. It kind of was like that, right? Pay 600 dirhams. Any car can enter because you pay that 600 dirhams. And if you have everything on the tick list, you win.
Do you need a superhero? Because I'll be honest, that Mustang, the Avatar Mustang, got international press, and it wasn't good press. But it was shared around the world, because when people think about you, I'm sorry, but the reason I think Flat12 is, and I know you're here, I don't mean to be like, we won't give the expression, but but like making you feel big, is because there's two kinds of car culture that's known around the world for the UAE. It's supercars and that kind of Avatar Mustang and the weird crap that comes out of here, and having a force against it is the value of Flat12, and it's the value of what we're trying to do as well. And there's a little community, and the Airlink is that kind of gathering or reunion for that community that's almost like pushing back against, unfortunately, the supercar rental that's blasted around Marina, and burn a car down on a bridge, or building an Avatar Mustang, which I saw it and I just went, you know what? Like, there's a lot of work that went into this, but I just can't tell why.
Yeah, do you know what? If you take, there's a lot of passion that's gone into building that car. Right?
Money, passion, yeah.
Yeah. So
misguided.
Time, money, and there is misguidance. Who told you to build that car? Well, Custom Show did.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm sorry, I can say this anyway. You've ruined the scene, I think, and
you're not helping.
You can almost pin it on certain people.
Responsibility for the culture, and I guess that's back to the first thing I said. It's how does it feel to have that bit of weight on your shoulder? I don't know if you know that, but like, it is a counterbalance, and it is a weight that Flat12 kind of has to say there should be a curation to what we think is good here.
I don't know, but every event, during the event or maybe a day after, I was like, that's it. I don't want to do it more. It's not worth it, especially when people are rude, by the way.
Yeah,
and
for no reason.
Spending the whole day on the door, a lot of people were rude.
I'd end up in jail if I had to do what you did. Second person, police are coming, Daniel's in jail.
So I always say, okay, that's the last time. And then after a while, I get bored and I was like, okay, I missed that. Let me do it again just for the sake of seeing everyone again. But again, I've never enjoyed any of the events. except Ramadan Drives. Ramadan Drive is a small number of people, 2 hours, small drive. You can chat.
It is very
you can actually
place.
chat with everyone, and it's
Well,
it's
we
always
can, you can, because we always get to chat. It's you that doesn't get to
exactly.
chat. Yeah.
So it's always familiar faces that you want to see, and it's chill. So I'd say Ramadan Drive is my favorite event. I hope next year I'll enjoy Safa Park, and then I can say it's my favorite event. But this year was really special because my parents, actually my whole family came, and they sent me pictures of the picnic, and Faisal, my brother, brought his kid, and he was crazy running all over the place. So I feel gutted I missed all of that. I'll try my best not to miss it out next year. But again, I feel bad. Imagine Tariq is standing behind me next to the door. I will feel bad me going inside enjoying the event, and Tariq is staying.
I kind of feel I feel sorry for him because he puts a lot of money into his cars for events like this.
He didn't even want to bring a car. By the way,
yeah.
I told him, no.
But that's cool.
The Blazer is here. Let's bring it to the event, and we actually benefited from the Blazer because we started putting stuff inside and took our employees there, and we took them back. And Tariq actually went to the cafe at 7:30 in the morning. He brought them and he took them back. So Tariq, thank you, but I can never do anything to thank this guy. And even with setting up the cafe as well, he has been coming there almost every day. And I keep telling my brothers,
he's there.
I keep telling my brothers, we're not spending time at Flat 12 today because Tariq needs to stay in Abu Dhabi. That's the only way. We do say that, and then we end up seeing Tariq at the cafe. I was like, okay, let's go to the cafe.
But you like, for events to succeed like this, unfortunately you need people like that.
Exactly.
Even though his car should be there, he should be enjoying the event as well, right? Like,
but that goes back to what we're saying about
passion.
I wouldn't say commercializing it, but formalizing it a little bit, because again, paying someone a bit of money is a way to show appreciation, because time is money to a certain degree, and you know that you're literally able to pay somebody to stand on the door. I think from in terms of like the guilt that you'd feel, it'd feel a bit less to say like, listen, and again, I think once people see this, hopefully they see this, but when they see this, to know that like how much work you put into it, I think people would gladly say, listen, like pay me 1 or 2K. I don't know how much it is, but like I wouldn't mind just to allow you to enjoy your event. And that would at least allow you to feel less guilty and enjoy the events that we've been enjoying.
The thing is, I got a lot of people asking me to actually help, but I feel bad asking them. Tariq and Abdullah and Khalid, my brothers are on the side, they have to do it. So, but the rest of my friends, I feel bad when they keep asking me, and the thing is, I need them. I can't do it by myself. So I feel bad when something happens and I ask them to do something. I just feel guilty, that why is he helping me? He's not enjoying. I was like, everyone that came and helped, I was like, listen, you will not enjoy the show. If you help, you will not enjoy the show.
But again,
keep
helping.
That in mind.
But
I've
you
never
have
paid
helped.
Alex a penny, by the way.
Do this for free, yeah. But like helping the community, because I feel like we all have the same passion behind trying to see it better, and we live here and we want to see it better. Do you know what I mean? I think that's probably.
We just need it to there needs to be natural growth, right? There'll be a turning point where you'll come like, why am I doing this? Unless there's some way of money doesn't make the world go round, but you'll probably go, I want to make this bigger and better, and the only way to do that is with money.
Yeah, I agree,
unfortunately, and
yes, because some of the venues now, they all, for example, the place that you wanted in Port Rashid, is charged. I wanted to use another place in Maidan, not the one, the Daikuku photo, something else. So, Safa Park next year, they were going to charge me this time, and I told them, guys, I'm not charging anyone to enter. You cannot charge me. They're like, it's going to be something small. I was like, okay, tell me how much. So I did pay something, but I think next year it's going to be even more, because they're going to charge me for the whole space that I use for cars. So this year, I think maybe they made an exception. They only charged me for the truck, for the tent.
Yes.
And it was something
nominal.
Minimal.
Exactly,
we paid to be there, by the way, as well. But it was
for disclosure,
and I don't think this time they were not looking for money, because a lot of people after you wanted to rent a space, and they were like, no, we're not giving anyone any more spaces.
But paying that small amount formalized it enough for like the government to get involved.
I don't mind
to
small
give
amounts.
them a stamp.
I think smaller if it's a reasonable amount, because my experience with events here is only really made as running 360, right? And that was with the Autodrome, and that's with Bert and your brother, right? Like, and they understand. So they charged us so they basically forwarded on their costs. So they said, listen, we need to put more security in. Can you pay for that? Can you pay for the cleaning of the grandstand? And that's all they really charge us, right? So I'm like, yeah, you have extra costs. I'm willing to cover your costs, no problem. And definitely Safa Park would have incurred some extra costs, right? So I think, yes, maybe cover that and maybe a little bit more for their admin and everything, but there needs to be a natural growth. And the only way you can cover that is by getting some kind of income.
Yeah.
And I think we'd pay it gladly, just in terms of like the paying.
What do you think is a good amount, by the way?
Listen, for me, but because I travel, like I've paid 100 dirhams a day to get into a show in the UK. But that's
is that considered a lot, or?
That's average price. Maybe I think you might anywhere from £7.50 up to £20, depending on the quality of the show. Yeah. So here, I'd easily pay 50, even 75. Like
it's a voucher, and like what's 50?
We might be different if you're giving stuff away on coffee as well. I don't even think let's say you charge 75 and 50, you get back in food. But we're different. Like we maybe are different to a lot of people. We understand that to do an event, it costs money and time. But you need to try it, I think. Car, definitely pre-approval selection type thing. And I don't know what price you could put on it. But
add your recommendations in the comments below, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean it. Yeah, but seriously, like I think the thing is the people that watch this as well is the same community.
And then we can know how much worth the event is.
How much? Exactly. How much is AJ worth?
We need that, right? I think people just need to understand that it's not like a guy said, "Yeah, I'm just gonna do an event for 1,800 cars," the day before, and everything works out. It's not like that.
I honestly didn't care how many cars we had, as long as we had the cars we wanted inside. Some of the cars went in. I was not at the door. Maybe I was.
This happens.
Parking. Yeah, it happens.
This happens.
Again, I'd rather have 10 R34s than 50. I think how many? I
think every single one.
Andy
they're supposed to be valuable, but there's so many.
Andy said this last night. I think we're numb to GTRs now because there's so many here.
I'm not. I want one.
I reached to a level there. I didn't even notice what's going on, and then when the cars were leaving, I was like, when did that went in? So there was that pink Dior car. Graham makes fun of me. How did that car go in?
Which one?
I don't know. It's a classic kit car that it's pink and has Dior stickers.
Oh,
I was looking at the car. I was like,
but
I was at the door the whole time. I did not remember.
If Graham ever says that to you again, laugh in his face and say, "But you'd accept that Dubai Drives." That's my way.
And Dubai Drive charge but Dubai Drives charge 600 dirhams, right?
That's a track day.
For the track day. But that's what I'm saying.
But that's one of the most well-organised events that I've been to in terms of paying and,
value.
And the rent in the Autodrome.
And then you have merchandise they've printed. So they give you a ticket. There's a lot of things.
It feels like an experience.
I don't think they made anything out of it. Maybe they lost money out of it.
No, I definitely think they lost money.
All right, should we take a break?
No. How long we got left? But we should really start to wrap up. I wanted to put you on the spot again and say,
did you know?
So is Safa Park, or let's call it the Grand Picnic, because that's what we call it, right? So if Safa Park suddenly say you can't come back, there's a backup venue as such. You don't need to mention where that is now. Or there's other options. So Grand Picnic could move to somewhere else because that venue might have gone, I like what Mohammed's done.
Or there might be some new marketing manager who decides not to me or whatever.
Yeah, we need to promote our event. So is the Grand Picnic going to be an annual event?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I'll hold you to that as well. Will it always be in January, February time?
Yes.
Perfect. Now...
There's a checklist, by the way. No one can see it.
Yeah. We'll always support. That's fine. But for me, I thought about this. We haven't had any events recently, right? Like, I don't know.
As a car club,
I can probably speak for all of you. I think we really enjoyed. It was Sunday, because our weekends have moved recently. So Sunday, it kind of made us realise we're connected. We got to speak to a lot of people
it's a reunion every time.
People we don't even know, right? That have seen maybe the podcast or
we had one YouTuber who has got
Chad.
The 8 million views on his videos with this crazy K24 swapped.
He lives in Thailand.
Yeah, he lives in Thailand.
They race these boats.
Racing boats. He just turned up and I just had a chat with him.
Where?
Oh, I've got a picture with him.
He was at the event. I'll send you his
I'll show you afterwards,
YouTube channel. But he kind of messaged me before, and I think he's spoken to a few other people, and we were just like, listen.
What's his account? I think
I think it's in his name, isn't it? It's Chad.
Yeah, it's white and red.
Yes,
I remember he texted me.
So, but moving on, we need, like, for us, we need more than one event a year, right? Like, we can't.
So I have like 3 or 4 venues that I've never used and I still have access for. The thing is, my brothers are still pushing me to do something at the port, and I'm embarrassed to tell people I want to do it there, because people will think, oh, I want to do it there because I want to sell more from the cafe.
But
so
I'd really like to be able to swear at this point and just say, listen,
but
you,
I'll still do
almost like
somewhere
grab
else.
you and shake you. It's fine.
you know, like there has to be some kind of benefit. It's not a commercial sense, but you know, it's just the growth, right? And again, it goes all the way back to, I want to buy a car here, but I can't, like a classic car or a special car, but I've got nothing to do with it. I need, like, these events kind of make you go, right, I'm going to buy another car, or I'm going to do this to my car, or I'll re-register my car.
But again, I think you've earned the right through the work that Flat12 has done, almost like a charity. Do you know what I mean? Like, earn the right.
Yeah, it's been a charity for 6 years.
Yeah, but I mean it. It's like you've earned the right.
So you should be able to stand up and say, listen, I don't care about you. I'm doing this event.
The thing is, Safa Park is the only event that I did twice in the same place. All the other events have always been in a new location. So that's why, Safa Park is an exception, because I can't have something else similar. I have somewhere else that has grass as well, and I can use it. But that's when they tell me, I think Safa Park is still better because it's in the middle. Once Safa Park tells me, you can't do it anymore, I'll still use that venue. So once Safa Park tells me, okay, you can't use that venue, I have somewhere else. But Safa Park, the Grand Picnic will always be in Jan. I'll always have a place for it. All the other events are going to be in a different location and a different time, except.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to clip this bit up, and if there's no mention of the event next January, we're just going to post this and tag you. But so that's set in stone. You had some ideas maybe for a more of a JDM evening event. I still really think you should do that. I think you're going to be playing with fire in terms of idiots. Yeah. But maybe I can speak for everyone here. I will gladly go up to someone and say, listen.
Leave.
Yeah, get out.
No, I used to be embarrassed to do that. Do it. Not anymore. If you can't respect me, please don't.
You have
to any of my events.
And if everyone else stands there and has that, you are an idiot, they'll leave and they'll feel stupid, right?
And again, like pre-vetting the cars allows us to allows it to kind of be a bit more organized and a bit like.
So what I'm saying, before we run out of time on the cameras, is I want a confirmation. That's
what it is.
That's all it is.
I was wondering.
We just need, it'd be cool to do that event as well. I don't really care when, but.
Daihoku
I can't even pronounce it. It just needs to be done right. I think the venue's cool. I think it'd be really cool.
And it'd be good. Actually, you know why it's important? Because what that did to car culture in general,
well.
I think the Japanese car segment needs it more than any other, because it's where most of the nonsense is, apart from maybe muscle cars, but the most amount of nonsense where they need some, like, we need to filter it out.
You could also put that Flat12 spin on it as well, which I'd like to see. I think that's cool. And really, we need it. So
there are more events coming. One of the things that we are going to start soon is something called Cars and Cookies. So we made the branding, and it's going to be every Saturday or every Sunday morning, and that is going to be a Flat12 cafe.
Good.
So we'll do it once or twice or 3 times and then stop it. We will not advertise it. We want people to go to Cars and Cookies every Saturday or Sunday. We still didn't decide one. And it becomes a destination on a weekend. People know that there are going to be cars at the
and kids get free cookies, something like that to incentivize the right crowd.
So everyone that reaches from 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. for the next 1 hour, we're going to give away cookies to everyone.
Also, the cookies are really good. I don't know who, someone said to me, because you were selling them at the event and they sold out fast.
The pasta's good as well.
That is something that is going to stay the whole winter, which is Cars and Cookies. We were supposed to do it this week, and I was telling my brothers, I'm not talking to anyone. I'm not going to do anything. I just want to rest and do nothing, basically. So we might start from next weekend. We will do it for 3 times max, and then we won't advertise it. We want it to be like Ramadan Drives. Natural. People know that on Saturday or Sunday there is something happening at the cafe. And I don't have to be there.
having something always happening at the cafe is probably the right attitude to have. Like not making it formalized or whatever, but knowing like if I come down, there's always going to be something interesting going on, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get going back to just doing another event, not necessarily a grand picnic, but maybe that's a regular part on the calendar as well. Like we've got to a point where we really need good car events. There isn't anyone else. I mean, this might be a bold statement. Is there anyone else doing good car events here? No, I don't think so.
Okay, I mean the stuff that happens in the Autodrome, like the Revival.
Oh yeah,
one.
so yeah.
Then there's the Dubai Drives events, like the Track Day, which are fun. Even the Dubai, the actual drives themselves, they've had their idiots, but they're normally quite fun as well. And the Flat12 events, and we need to do something. Is what we need to do at some point.
No, we're not doing it.
There we go. You heard it here first.
No, but it would just be nice to have more events.
Exactly.
Not necessarily as big as a grand picnic, but like.
The smaller ones are always something I enjoy more, to be honest.
Do more of those for yourself.
Do you know, there's a lot of people I didn't speak to at the grand picnic, or our tent was busy, and I think there was people waiting to speak to us, and it was very hard because there was so many people there, right? So the going back to Airlink, that was a great event because it was very small and you spoke to everyone. So yeah, I just want you to be motivated to do more events. We need it. And we enjoy it as car owners, as car culture, you know, both ways, right? So, and I'm sure pretty much everyone else that went to a grand picnic would be the same, right? We just need more of it, but it needs to be sustainable. You don't want to be feeling like at the end of the day, why did I do this? You know.
I agree. Yeah.
So yeah.
But again, I think the coolest thing, that my biggest takeaway from this whole chat now is that seeing your dad turn up and then your parents and having them walk around and be like, look what my kid did. That is probably the best kind of.
That was my highlight. To be honest.
And it's still got to be I say grand picnic's got to be the biggest car event here.
Apart from like the motor show, yeah.
This motor show's not a car event in my eyes, like community-based event. It's the biggest community-based event, and it's ran by an Emirati, right? So no one else has managed to do that.
But that's why that's
this idea
of
statement.
That's what makes it more institutional, because it is it's
part of history. It's done.
Yeah, it's here, and it's not someone that can it's going to have to.
If I was you, I'd just quit and sit back and go, I've done it.
Okay, I think we need to wrap up before we do.
Yeah, exactly.
Before we do final thoughts, just because I know we need to wrap up. If there's anything we would just want to add before.
No, I don't. But this is, I think we've now caught up to date. This is current time podcast. Everything else that we've done was backdated. Yeah. Maybe we have a formula that works now. Maybe we don't. But
for podcasts,
yeah,
I don't know.
But it should be more regular, not regular, but more up to date, because I think a lot of our stuff has been in the past.
And it's good to be a little more like news, whatever,
fresh.
Yeah,
this is fresh, right?
Anything else you want to add, man, before we finish?
Thank you for having me. And again, it's not always only Flat12. The support I get from car culture, photography, the articles, it all helps everyone else to grow as well.
We didn't even know the podcast would help you with the municipality. That for me was massive.
But I think everyone else that has been helping, talking about the event, it helps everyone to be. It helps me as well. Really, if we don't have photographers, no one would see these cars. I don't have time to take my phone and even take pictures. So I always use content that you guys produce. So if we don't have that content, we can't show people how good these events are. So again, thank you guys for always supporting.
We need the events for the content, right? That's what we're saying.
No, man, we need it for the culture. Do you know what I mean?
That's just what we live, right? This is what you live. We just need more of it. And if anyone else wants to step up and do a good event, please.
Yeah, I don't mind. I want to actually enjoy them. Graham wants to do an event. I was like, please, I'm not organizing.
Let's put Graham on the spot.
Find out who owns the Flat 6 account and let them do a few events. All right, on that note, should we wrap up? Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Done.
Bang. 1 minute left.